we're back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and I'm pumped for today's guest because we're going home, my original home, back to the Hoosier State. And actually, we're going to a golf course that I love, a course that I didn't play as much as I would like, but played in a few high school matches, the Legends Golf Club in Franklin, Indiana. We're going to go talk a little bit about that, and you might remember that course because not this season, but earlier on in the history of this show, we had Ted Bishop on, who is a former PGA of America president. He's the general manager at the Legends. So today, and it's funny how this guest came about. So just a few days ago, I get a friend request from someone, and I see that she's a golfer, and I'm like, cool, who is it? Look and see she's at Legends, yada, yada, yada. And now here she is on the show to talk about what she does. This episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play is presented by Eat Sleep Golf. If you're at home watching, if you don't already subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the subscribe button down below. But also do one more thing. Click on the notifications. That's the easiest way to guarantee you get notified when this show hits every Wednesday at 10 a.m. You don't want to look at us? That's okay too, because we're on iTunes and we're on Google Play in a podcast format. So head over there, subscribe there as well. But anywhere you want to obtain this content, it's easy to do so. But every Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., you'll find another episode. And we're wrapping up this season as well. We're already starting this plan for season 4. So only a few more episodes left of season 3, and excited about season 4. We had a couple of fun things planned for that. But this show is also a part of the Golf Radio Network. Don't you just love this shirt? I mean, I'm a big fan of this color. The Golf Radio Network is just a collection of syndicated podcasts that Gabriel Aloisi set up, and it's growing. And we'll talk about podcasts tonight because our guest has a podcast. But enough about that and enough about me. Let's talk about her. So she works at the Legends Golf Club under Ted Bishop, and I could pretend to explain all that she does, so I'm going to give her a second to do that. So let's welcome Crystal Morse to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
Well, how are you? Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it. Excited to be here. So
give us an overview of who you are, what you do, and kind of what your role is at the Legends.
Yeah, so to give you a little rundown, kind of about my golf history, grew up here in Indiana, went to Center Grove High School, so I know that's always Central Indiana Hoosiers kind of know that school. Played college golf at Western Kentucky University, go Hilltoppers. And actually, after graduating college, I started working for Ted. Decided I wanted to get into the golf business. Worked for him for two seasons, and had the chance to go out to Southern California. Kind of grew my career out there. Worked in the private club sector at the Lakes Country Club under Mike Clifford, and then again at the club at Morningside in Rancho Mirage, California. Met my husband, who's also a golf pro out there. We have 2 young kids, and I drug them back here to the Hoosier State to raise our kids in this wholesome state, so around good people. Aside from that, Ted gave me the opportunity when I came back here to started out as the director of player development. He basically wanted me to grow the game there at the Legends. So I decided to do that through junior golf and ladies golf, because that's kind of what I have a passion for. We grew the program. So started PGA Junior League, had 12 kids in our PGA Junior League program the first, just last year. This year, through a lot of the programs and just advertising, word of mouth, this year we had 72 kids in our program. So we're really, just growing the game. Became U.S. Kids Certified Coach. I'm an LPGA, USGA Girls Golf Site Director. Joined the Operation 36 golf program, which I can explain a little bit more about that. It's kind of a long-term player development program that's tons of fun for the kids and really can be used for adults too. So and then through all that, Ted just recently promoted me. He's like, "Hey, Crystal, I want you to be my head pro." So I gave it some thought and I jumped on board. So yeah, Ted and I are, we're doing a lot of fun stuff there at the Legends. So it's a great time.
That's awesome. And you do realize, if you forgot, it snows in Indiana. So you were in California where it doesn't. I'm here in Southwest Florida. So when it gets cold, it's 72 degrees outside. So just so you know, around, December, January, when it's snowing, it's not here. So come down and visit anytime you need.
I know. I'd look forward to that too.
Give us an overview of the operation at the club. I know a lot about it, and like I said, I've not played in a long time, but tell us a little bit more about the property, what you guys have going on there. Is it daily fee? Do you have some members? Kind of give us an overview of what the golf club is all about.
Definitely. So the golf course is located, for those of you who don't know, is in Franklin, Indiana, which is just about 20 miles south of Indianapolis. Very easy to get to. You just hop on 65, head down there. So it's real accessible. And it's 27 hole, semi-private. So we have members. We also have a lot of daily fee play. More of a link style course, I would say. We don't have a lot of trees, so it's more, definitely more link style. Have a fantastic practice facility. Range is huge. We have both sides we can use. Great short game facility. And we actually have a par 3 that we use quite a bit, that's linked there to the Indiana golf office that we're neighbors with, that I use a ton for our junior programs. So the golf course is great. We have, gosh, like 5 sets of tees. So there's kind of, a yardage for everybody. And, Ted just ran this fantastic membership special, really at the start of the year. And the whole goal with that was really to generate golfers. So we wanted to reach out to those people in the community, neighboring community that, they may not have played the Legends. They may not be avid golfers, but we want to make them avid golfers. So our whole goal is to create golfers here in the community. And this membership opportunity that, he offered really is doing that. It's creating golfers, getting people out to the golf course, and kind of letting them see what the Legends is all about, and hopefully giving them hooked on the game. So which is, so again, it's a busy club right now, and I'm taking advantage of that by creating a lot of programs for for ladies and juniors and men too. I don't leave the men out, but ladies and juniors are kind of my niche, I feel, for sure.
So you work with Ted Bishop. Like I said, he's been on the show in the past. He is a legend in the game of golf. The guy has been around the block time and time again, but I love it that he's still at the club. How did you guys first meet, and do you enjoy working with him? Kind of what's that look like for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I have known Ted since I was a teenager. Played golf with his daughters, Ashley and Ambry. A lot of junior golf. They always kicked my butt on the golf course. I wouldn't say that. We were actually pretty competitive, but they definitely were at the college level. I would say they really excelled. So yeah, I've known Ted for a long time. We kind of developed a relationship kind of back then where he knew my game, and kind of from playing with his daughters, kind of stayed in touch, and he gave me the opportunity. He's the one that actually really encouraged me to get into the PGA program. So after I started working for him, once I graduated Western, he was like, if you're going to get into the business, go the PGA route. That's the way to go, this and that. And he's the one that really encouraged me to take the job out in California and kind of go out there full time and really delve into it. Ted, I will say, is like one of my biggest mentors in the business. He is fantastic, probably the hardest working person. I mean, golf pro, anything that you're ever going to meet. He is always on the go. So, and now him and now that I can go back to his place with obviously a little more of experience, I was just kind of a green pro, I would say completely green when I first started working for him. And now, I have some experience to bring to the table. So he's probably appreciates that. But I could not be happier working for Ted. He, hardworking. Him and I have known each other, so we have a good kind of working rapport with each other. We both know kind of what our responsibilities are. And I'll tell you what the best thing is. He gives me complete freedom, really to kind of be creative and think of these ideas that maybe not other courses in the area are doing. And it's really worked out well, because with that freedom, I've really generated a lot of interest, like I said, primarily among junior golfers, and it's been a lot of fun. So I truly respect the guy, and I love the freedom that he's given me to kind of think of things and, help make his club a little bit better, for sure.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned your husband. He's a golfer. He works at Golf Tech there in Indianapolis. Do you guys play a lot of golf? And when you play, does he let you in, or do you not need him?
Not at all. And I'll tell you, interestingly enough, so we moved back from California. He got a job at Golf Tech, and really just recently, which is probably it's so recent that it wasn't even updated on his bio. He's actually going to become the director of instruction down there at the Legends. So we're going to have kind of a family, kind of a family deal going on down there. Not only are the Bishops, like I said, we're going to have complete family. So you got the Bishops, and then you got the Morse family, and we're just kind of taking over the Legends. So we have a lot of exciting things in store. For the Legends, like you said, the winners are going to get, obviously Indiana winners are not ideal. So we have plans for indoor teaching studio there on site at the Legends, which is going to be, kind of unlike anything on the South Side. So, we got great plans. We're looking forward to it.
That's awesome. So going back to high school, so Tony Trout, I don't know if you know the name. He was the high school golf coach when I played at Northview. And you have some experience coaching a golf team. So you coached the Whiteland High School girls golf team. What's that like as the coach? Like, I've always thought, like, as a leader that Tony was to me, and remembering the conversations we had before matches or after matches, quite frankly. And just like, I love that idea. Like, one, where do you find the time to do that with all the other stuff you have going on? And what's that experience been like for you coaching a team? And is the team any good?
Well, and I don't know if you know much about kind of like the Whiteland, Greenwood, Center Grove area. I would say Whiteland, we've had a lot of great talent. So this was my third year coaching, and we've made it to regionals 2 out of 3 years, so which is very respectable. Our regional, usually the state winner comes from our regional, so it's a really competitive regional. So unfortunately, we haven't made it out, but we've been competitive. It's definitely in our sectional for sure. Coaching, so it's interesting. I will say, I go into my first year of coaching and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to make them like better golfers and they're going to be awesome. And then I like kind of get into the season and I realize it's with high schoolers, it's a lot more, like you said, kind of the psychology of it. They're stressed from school. They have a lot of distractions from school and family life and friends and technology. And so, one of my goals very quickly became, if we can make it through a round with no tears, then we're good. Like, I'm considering that a success, because, just being able to get their mind right to be able to play golf is a huge accomplishment for a coach. So I found that to be one of the main struggles. Just realizing to myself, it's like, okay, it's not all about golf, so to speak, with these high school girls. It's more, being their mentor, being somebody that they can really look up to, can talk to about things. And let's kind of throw some golf in there too. But I feel like they've improved. We work a lot on short game, a lot on the 100 yards and in. And I feel like I've helped him over the last 3 years. So, but it's been great. And to go along with that, so Ted and I, we kind of talked. He hosted our regional last year, and I kid you not, it took over 6 hours to play. So pace of play was awful.
Wow.
And it was bad. And so after that, he goes, we got to do something about this. So Ted actually kind of spearheaded this I guess thing in Indiana called Project 215, which really he partnered with the IHSAA and said, listen, we've got to do something about the pace of play in high school golf, because not only is it affecting, it's really about growth of the game. Like, nobody's going to want to continue with a game or start a game if it's going to take them more than 6 hours to play. So we have Project 215 here in Indiana, where basically our goal is to get these golfers, teach them how to play ready golf, get them around the golf course in 9 holes in 2 hours and 15 minutes or less. And so we've done a lot of progress with that this year. It's been great to hear the discussion, especially among coaches, saying, okay, let's speed it up. Let's, learn how to play ready golf. Let's work on our pre-shot routines. And kind of teach the juniors how to get around the golf course in a reasonable amount of time. And Ted's main point, and, our main point in doing this is, we hold adults to expectations. Like, we couldn't have people there at the Legends, just a normal daily play taking 6 hours, because everybody would be up in arms. So why should we let, or, why do we let the juniors play in that length of time? So kind of holding the juniors to the same standards as adults, and the idea that you don't have to be good to play quick and to play ready golf. So that's been a huge discussion in high school golf, and it's been a great, I've seen a lot of good progress with it. So that's been a lot of fun.
That's really cool. So Troon as a company has a program called Troon Values Your Time. And the idea is that every Troon facility is to have a time par. So here at Tiburon Golf Club, our time par is 4 hours and 15 minutes. So if it takes longer, we're able to track that to be able to see where our time par is, and then to be able to look at what's going on the golf course. We monitor golf cart traffic. I mean, in the golf shop, if you're 3 minutes behind, boom, it's going to be on your GPS. If you get to 10 minutes behind, the player's assistant's going to come out and say, hey, you have one hole to pick it up, or we're going to move you ahead a hole. And we do a really good job with that here, and a lot of Troon properties worldwide do. And there's a property out in California, not far from where you were, that actually does pace setter times. So the first group, or the first couple of groups during the day, if they play in less than 3.5 hours on a 4 hour and 15-minute time par, hey, drinks are on us in the clubhouse. Then that sets the tone for the entire day. That way the first group is getting in fast, and then it just allows for the operator, that helps make more money, especially during the season, because you're selling more tee times if you're able to get people around the golf course faster. So
Exactly. Yeah, it was the main thing. And, the main point is no club is going to want to, public or private, is going to want to host a high school team, if it's going to tie up their golf course for that length of time. So we found it to be quite an issue, just on a growth of the game standpoint, saying, hey, we got to do something, or high school golf, especially girls golf, it's going to struggle. So they're not going to be able to find a course to play at. They're not going to get people wanting to join the team, because we're competing with soccer, softball, basketball, all these sports that just take, maybe 2 hours to play. So we're competing with those. So we got to do something to step it up.
No offense to those other sports, but golf is the greatest game ever played. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of technology out there, TrackMan, Sand Putt Lab, just a ton of stuff that you could be using in a teaching capacity. What technologies are you using, if any, when you go out there for a lesson?
I'll tell you what, I use more technology in the wintertime, obviously when we're restricted to indoor teaching. So I use more technology as far as flight scope and whatnot. But and my husband, the director of the gym, he's a little bit more technology oriented. He'll get up the JC video on the range during a lesson and really use the technology. For me, my teaching philosophy, I don't even know it's my philosophy, just my teaching style is, I kind of get bored on the range unless we're really working on like a swing change. We kind of go around. I'll spend a lot of time on course management. So we'll try to get out on the golf course. We'll work a lot on short game. And I'll tell you what my best tools has been my iPhone. I'll use V1 Golf. I got the app on my phone. I'll snap a couple quick videos, and just from that, I can look pretty readily at a swing plane, swing path, and things like that to get the student back on track. And I'll be like, hey, check this out. You're taking it back a little bit too much to the inside. I can compare just on my phone. I can compare to plenty of LPGA and PGA pros. And so my tools are basically an iPhone and V1 app. Is what I use in the summertime. Wintertime, I'm flight scope. Now, when we get our indoor facility built, we're going to be obviously focused quite a bit more on technology, and we're kind of looking at our options there with the simulator screens. And but we're pretty much sticking with JC video and the putting. I mean, you got to have some sort of putting technology as well. So the Sand Putt Lab is going to be high on our list for that. But yeah, technology definitely has its role in teaching. My husband and I kind of but Jim and I always go back and forth about how much, because I'm a little old school. He's a little bit more new school. So we always kind of like have a healthy conversation about how much technology should be used in teaching. So
that's awesome. Now, let's say somebody books a lesson with you. What's that first lesson look like? I mean, they just come in and you get an overview. Do you recommend, buying lessons in packs of 3 or 5 or more? Kind of what's your strategy there?
Yeah, well, a first lesson with me is really, it depends on if I know the person or not. So a lot of times maybe I've seen them around the club. And I'll tell you, since I just kind of accepted the head pro position, it's put me in more of a position to really talk to a lot more people. And I've had a lot more men, I think in general, kind of be like, hey, do you teach? I'm like, yeah, I teach, and so we'll kind of have this. I've had a lot more men interested in lessons, which is always, kind of fun. So a first lesson with me, basically, I'm getting to know you. I'm getting to know kind of what your golf history is. At the beginning of the year, I became TPI certified, which I'm sure you're obviously familiar with that. So I'm TPI level 1 certified. So usually a first lesson, if they're not a young junior, is going to include a TPI physical screen to kind of see where their physical limitations are and how that's going to affect their golf game. So the TPI certification was one of the best things that I could have done for my teaching, because it really opened my eyes to how your physical limitations affect your golf swing. And basically you have two choices. You can either will identify a physical limitation, and basically the question is, okay, do we teach around it, or do you actually want to go see a fitness professional and try to improve that limitation and make it so it's not a limitation? So those are basically the questions we ask. And it's like, a lot of, depending on the age, I would say, I get people that they're not gym rats, they work and they're busy, so they're not going to have a time to go see a fitness professional. So we'll teach around it. I'll say, okay, well, you're just not capable to make this huge shoulder turn, so we're going to kind of shorten up the swing. Or just, maybe you have some hip limitations and you're really not able to make a turn to your left side. So we're going to kind of make some modifications in your swing for that. So kind of a fitness screen is the first thing we do, and just kind of getting to know their history, and then kind of go from there. I always, everybody wants to hit the ball further, but I always tend to try to steer them towards the short game as much as I can. So that's kind of, I love teaching short game and course management, I would say, are like my two main kind of passions to teach, for sure.
My pro is all about the short game because my driver is broken. It goes left and it goes right. I think we fixed that, but my short game is good because it has to be. So because I don't have a choice.
Right.
But he, to that, you mentioned something earlier that made me think of this. He said not long ago, do you think you can play 18 holes and hit 18 bad shots and still shoot 72? And then when he said that, I was like, no, there's no way. And he was like, yes, you can. And then we walked through it and he talked me through it. And he's like, if you allot yourself one bad shot per hole, you could shoot even par, still making par with a bad shot, and 18 holes. And I've been trying to use that mentally as from a course management perspective, flying my way around the golf course. And I like that that's something that you focus on, course management and the short game, because you're right, from 100 yards and in, that's the happy place.
It's the game, right? And so, and especially I've watched a lot of high school golf in these last 3 years, and that's just where I see the biggest discrepancy. And I'm telling the girls, I'm like, you're fine off the tee. Like, yeah, you may miss it 5 yards off the fairway to the right, but that's not what is causing you to get a triple bogey on this hole, or a double bogey or whatever it may be. And so I've just seen, I'm like, wow, they really need help kind of distinguishing, okay, how I'm in this spot, how can I make par? How can I make bogey? In choosing the right clubs, having the right decision-making skills, and, just having the right attitude out on the course. That's kind of what I love to focus on that with the juniors, for sure. So
you talked about credentials, TPI, you got a couple of others. Any plans to add any more? I mean, Aimpoint seems to be like the hottest thing right now. I mean, everybody's using Aimpoint. So looking to add any more credentials anytime soon?
I'm always trying to add credentials, always. And, part of that I feel is just because, like, I want to learn as much as I can. Part of it is because, and I don't, you can kind of take this however you want, but part of it is being a female in the business too. I feel like the more credentials and the more kind of credibility I can add to my resume, it kind of always helps with that clientele. People can kind of view me as a source of, kind of their source for golf. And I feel like these credentials kind of help with that. So yeah, definitely. I mean, Aimpoint's a big one. Anything I can do. In the process of getting certified. I'd love to become a certified PGA professional, certified in player development. That's my next goal, is just become a certified professional. But yeah, Sam Putt Lab, Aim Point, TPI. I'd love to go back to TPI and actually do the junior level. So kind of the TPI level 2 and focus on the junior golf, because I feel like here anyways in Indiana, that's just like a hot spot. Like I'm riding the wave of junior golf right now. So I'd like to get back and get that probably this winter. Hopefully this winter I'll be able to do that.
Else to do in the winter unless you get the studio built. I mean, you'll
That's
be
what I'm saying.
in snow.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, as I mentioned, this show is a iTunes podcast. So if you haven't, and everyone watching at home, I'm talking to you, go subscribe, leave a review, let us know what you think of the content. We got over 120 episodes. This episode right here is episode 122, and we're not slowing down. We've already started booking guests into season 4, so that'll be here before you know it. But speaking of podcasts, On the Green podcast, tell me more about your podcast. I love it. And if you ever need a guest, I'm probably available.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I'm always trying to think of a way to do something different, as compared to our golf in the area. And I'm like, I got asked to kind of help out with the high school state tournament last season. So the 2017 high school girls state tournament, Indiana Sports Radio Network, they said, hey, would you want to come help us kind of just, showcase the high school girls state tournament? We're going to do a show on it. I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. I had so much fun doing that radio show, that I was like, you know what? I think we could do something. Let's try a podcast. And basically what we're going to do, it's kind of focused on obviously targeting the members of the Legends, but it can go much more far reaching than that. We have fun guests on. Again, it all goes back to growing the game, kind of reaching more people through the game of golf. And I don't know, we have a ton of fun with it. So Ted and I, he's kind of, he's such a fantastic radio. He's great on the radio. So I knew if I had him as kind of my sidekick on the show, it was going to be fun. So it's been great. And we look forward to hopefully keeping it going and just having fun guests on. I'll definitely get in touch with you, because we'd love to have you on for sure. You have a lot of fun stuff. So
that'd be awesome. I don't know if you got, for just thinking out loud, for November, we host the LPGA CME Group Tour Championship, which is basically their last event of the season, plus kind of their FedEx Cup with the Race to the Globe. Impacts on Golf, like I was mentioning, does a lot of stuff with. You talked about Operation 36. They actually do an Operation 36 as well. They do it with not only juniors, they also do it with full-fledged adults. I mean, and adults get pumped about it, right?
They do. It's so fun.
Yeah, and I mean, there's tons of opportunity. We host an LPGA event and a PGA Tour event. We have the QBE shootout here in December, and then season starts. Like, I mean, pretty busy around here this time of year, but always excited to talk about golf and anything that's going on in the game. And it's fun. So as we were talking before we went live, I've started a new show on this channel called Emergency 9, and I'm thinking to myself, how do I get people to interview me? Right. Well, maybe I should start getting guests of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play to come back to host Emergency 9. So I literally just thought of that. So if I invite you one day to come back and interview me for an Emergency 9, be on the lookout.
I love it. I'm in.
Now, the front 9 was all business related. Let's that was fun. It's so cool to see what you're doing there. Please tell Ted I said hello. I haven't seen him or talked to him in quite some time, but the back 9's a little bit more fun. And speaking of the Emergency 9, the most recent episode, David Keller actually hosted that. He has a really cool product called Train Your Aim. It's the simplest thing. It's a little plastic piece that you put on your putter, and it helps you with alignment. And he hosted that, and every hole, it was so funny. He was like, oh, we're coming up on hole number 3. It's a par 4, dogleg right. Like, it was fun, right? So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. It was really cool. And I'm not going to go into that much detail in 18 holes, but the back 9's fun. We're going to have a little bit of banter about a couple of these, I think. But are you ready for your back 9?
Couldn't be more ready.
Awesome. So there are a lot of good golf courses in Indiana. There's no question. I mean, from Coffin to your place to Brickyard to French Lick, you've got them all over the place. And without picking your own, what's your favorite golf course in Indiana?
That's a tough question, but I will say probably one of the coolest experiences was when we went down. You mentioned French Lick. You mentioned probably one of two of the top ones that I really enjoyed. Brickyard is always a classic because you get to go inside the track. I mean, that's always kind of a draw. And not to mention the course design is a lot of fun as well. But the die course at French Lick is hard to beat. It's got to be one of the top golf courses in Indiana. Beautiful. Yeah, we went out there probably, I want to say 3 years ago. We had the chance to get down there. We knew back when Jan Tellstrom, I don't know if you know Jan, but Jan Tellstrom was kind of a big pro here in the area. He was down at French Lick. Talked to him. He got us on the course, and it was just spectacular. I think, we could have been the only people out there that day, had a caddy, and it was just fantastic. The course kicked my butt. I mean, it completely is just dominated me, but has one of the highest points in Indiana. So I can't remember what tee it was, but one of the tees, it's literally the highest point in Indiana, and you can see just forever. So die course at French Lick has to be a bucket list. Now, I'm sure you know the town of French Lick, so there's not a lot to do in French Lick other than the resort. Like, the hotels are incredible, but other than that, but the golf course and the hotels are fantastic. So
my good friend Dan Attaway plays
see.
all the time, and he says that. So I think you just secured it. I'm going to French Lick next year. Now, I assume you have, but have you ever had a hole-in-one? And if so, how many have you had?
Zero. I've had zero.
What?
And let me tell you a funny story. So we have Jim and I, my husband and I have a 7-year-old son. We just got him into golf this year, and you can probably see where this is going. Just got him into golf. He's on our PGA Junior League team. Literally, he started golfing in like April, right? I mean, literally got him a US Kids set of clubs, golfing. It has a pretty good little swing for a 7-year-old. He's teeing it up with a friend on the par 3 before Junior League practice. I kid you not, he takes driver out on 120-yard par 3, and it takes like 2 hops and bounces in the hole. And so my son, who is 7 and been playing for like, maybe 4 months at the time, has a hole-in-one, and I have a big fat 0. So it's slightly depressing. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in good company because I don't even want to talk about it. Yeah, I've been a revolution short more times than I can count, and it's just a matter of time for both of us. We'll get one. It's just
what I'm saying. I know, it's what I'm saying. I've been so close. So
how far do you hit your driver? Don't lie, you're on TV.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what I switched to? I actually had my husband fit me for a driver, the Epic. I had him fit me for the Epic. So I'm a Callaway. I'm a Callaway person. Callaway all the way. And Ted's Callaway master staff now. So we're kind of a Callaway crew there at the Legends. Got fit for the Epic. So I was probably at like I'd say like I was probably carrying it at about 220, right? Rolling out. I switched to the Epic. I kid you not. It was like added 20 yards. So carrying it 240, probably rolling it out to, 250 on a good day. So
I want strokes. If we're playing, I want strokes.
I'll tell you what. I was gonna say the Epic. Love the Epic driver. Gave me tons of distance, but I will say I lost maybe just a hair of consistency. So whereas I could always be down the middle, the Epic, I'm a little more unsure. So I'm looking at maybe switching it up to the Rogue here soon. So
that's awesome. That's awesome that you're with Callaway. Dan, the guy I was just telling you about, he's a big Callaway guy as well. So he'll appreciate that. And I may or may not have a Callaway personality coming on this show very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Hashtag Chad, Harry Arnett. I'm looking at both of you guys. So there are a lot of golf movies out there. Some are good, some are not. What's your favorite?
Oh gosh. I mean, I just kind of go with the old classics. I mean, I'm definitely a classic. I'm a Tin Cup person all the way. Tin Cup and Caddyshack. I know. So Tin Cup is just like I could watch that over and over again. Caddyshack's good. It's got a lot of good humor, but if you said, okay, Tin Cup, Caddyshack, or you could throw a lot of others out there, like I'm Tin Cup all the way.
Good answer. Good segue into this next question, because being a Hoosier, I am a Purdue grad. She's not here. She would be rooting for IU. And it's funny because I'm not even sure she knows how to spell IU. But Settle the debate. I know you didn't go to IU or Purdue, but you're from the Hoosier State. Settle the debate. IU or Purdue?
I mean, I got to go with my heart. I got to go with IU. And here's the ironic thing about that. I grew, and here's why. So my grandpa got me into the game of golf, right? He got me into the game of golf at like 9. He was like an avid IU fan. I would go to like home football games with him all the time when I was growing up. And so that's why, like, I got to go with my heart. However, I actually went to Purdue for a year as a walk-on. Was a walk-on on their golf team. So I was at Purdue for a year before I transferred, but I never quite, like, I guess, gravitated to being a Boilermaker fan through that. So IU all the way.
All right, you're wrong. That's okay. I'm a Boilermaker. I can't help it.
I know, right? And Ted would be disappointed in me right now, but what are you going to do? One of his daughters went to IU, so he's split as well.
Okay, now I talked about her not knowing how to spell IU. She also has a degree from Purdue. She's got her undergrad from Purdue and her MBA from IU. So she went the opposite direction. Hey, so she doesn't even really get the chance to battle.
Yeah.
Now you talked about Callaway. I'm assuming you play a Callaway golf ball, Chrome Soft.
Chrome Soft all the way. So I used to play Pro V1. So I used to be a Titleist fan. I'm
the Pro V1X right now, and I'm trying the Callaway.
Gotta try it.
Oh, it's there. I mean, I'm playing Chrome Soft for the rest of this. I'm going to play Chrome Soft this season, and we'll see.
Right. You'll get hooked.
I feel like it's as far off the tee, but I don't feel like the spin around the greens is as good as the Pro V1.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. If I can learn to play that, if I can justify landing at 4 or 5 feet short and letting it roll out versus to hit, check, and stop, I just got to change my game a little bit to play it.
Right.
We'll see what happens. Now, I mentioned Tiger. I mean, he's above me. He's all around me. I drive a red and black car because he wears red on Sunday, and I'm not kidding. Be careful how you answer this. Now, do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
I would say, yeah, I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes.
Balloons, confetti everywhere.
I know. I'm a Tiger fan. I had a Tiger poster in my room growing up, right? So, I mean, I'm as big of a Tiger fan as anybody. I lost, through his tough years. I was kind of a little iffy on him. But he's really, I feel like, come back and he's better than he was. Probably in a better space, I'd imagine, in his life as well. So yeah, I think the way that he's come back, I think he's got every chance to beat Jack's record for sure. I look forward to seeing it, and I'm happy that my son, who's now a golfer, is able to watch him on TV. I didn't think that was going to be able to happen, so I'm excited he can see it.
When he won just a few weeks ago, he played so bad on Sunday, shoots 1 over par on Sunday, and still wins the golf tournament by 2. And I got into an argument. I didn't argue because the other person was wrong. I mean, I think Tiger's the greatest of all time. There's no question about it. But somebody said, oh, well, he played in a limited field and he wouldn't do that well in a field of 144. And I was like, he played in a field of 30 that were the 30 best players in the world at that time that week. So if there's a field that he could play against and win, it'd be that one. Yeah. So I think that I had said before this year wrapped up that he was going to play well all season, no wins. So he's already ahead of my schedule. And I said 3 to 5 wins next year, 1 if not 2 majors. And I'm going to be real excited come Augusta because that would just be something else if he can get that done. Okay, thank you for coming on the show. This has been awesome. That's not your last question, but it's always fun to get to meet new people. You added me on Facebook. Who knew that you would jump on Facebook and now you'd be coming on my show and the podcast? So I appreciate the content and the conversation. I think we have a lot of friends in common with your position where you're at the Legends. Again, tell the team there that I said hello. I've got a lot of history there, not as much as you because, my God, you've been with Mr. Bishop for quite some time. But your final question of your hashtag Wednesday Match Play presented by Eat Sleep Golf is, what's next? I mean, you got a promotion, you're going to be a head pro, but what's in the immediate future for you? And snow is in your immediate future, but let's look big picture.
Yeah, exactly. So I tell you what, I've really, really the sky's the limit. I'm always trying to find ways. Like I try to stay completely open-minded. I'm always trying to find ways to just to be better, improve, create fun opportunities, and just kind of be different. And I feel now that I'm in that head professional position, I can actually help the legends, just kind of like just grow. I really am interested in getting into like more advertising and marketing because I find that to be a lot of fun. Social media is obviously a huge way for clubs nowadays to reach more people and grow their clientele. And you know what? There's no telling. I'm open minded for anything, so there's no telling what the future is going to hold. I'm going to get certifications. I'm just kind of grow my network and grow the game. Think of fun, cool ideas. Heck, our junior program, we had 70 this year. We may be up to over 100 next year. Who knows? So there's no limits. So
That's
I love it.
awesome. That's so cool. I'm going to look forward to following along on Facebook and other social networks. This episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play presented by Eat Sleep Golf, like I said, is going to be on iTunes and Google Play as a podcast. Subscribe there. Subscribe here on YouTube. Follow along on the Golf Radio Network. It's really easy to find this show. I am so excited for what you've got going on right now at the Legends, and it's going to be fun to follow along. And you've got, like I said, a bright future ahead of you, and I would love to see you get to 100. So keep me in the loop and let me know how well that does post-snow when all the snow melts. But come down to Naples if you get cold, because they do call this paradise for a reason. I'm just saying.
Right.
So we got beaches all around us and great golf here, and it's a lot of fun to come down here. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been fun getting to know more about you and more about your role at the Legend. And as always, on the Hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.